4 orcas who were stuck in ice captivity and could have died if rescuers and local residents had not decided to intervene to help. A baby orca that was hunting seals but got carried away and ended up stranded, and the mother could not help him in any way. Also, an orca who was thrown on the rocks, which could have also died without human help. Now, I will tell you 5 amazing stories of saving orcas that would not have survived without human help. Number 5. On Sakhalin Island, 4 orcas, including 1 cub, fell into an ice trap near the coast. Just a few hours ago, there was ordinary water in place of the ice blocks, but due to the so-called downwind, a real ice field formed near the shore. Usually, animals in such cases swim away, and only dead animals are thrown into shallow water. But 4 live orcas were noticed by local residents, who called rescuers. The amazing story of the rescue lasted more than a day, but about everything in order. So 2 beauties could be easily reached from the shore, and the other 2 were squeezed a little further among the ice blocks. Having reached the first 2 victims, including the cub, rescuers quickly managed to push the ice blocks and free the animals, which returned to sea. The 3rd orca was also rescued pretty quickly. The video also caught the operation to rescue the last orca, which rescuers called Willie. The orca was blocked from all sides by ice blocks, and people could not push them out. But giving up was not an option for these kind people. Rescuers brought a huge rope and a truck to the place. They wrapped the ice floes with a rope, and from the shore, the car pulled them away from the orca. It was a very long, hard, and routine job that lasted more than 18 hours. All this time, rescuers poured cold water on the orca, which was necessary so that it would not get burned in the sun. Also, people smeared the wounds from the ice floes with which poor Willie was injured with cream. It is not known how much more time it would have taken to pull all the ice floes apart, but then people were lucky. A wave that rose from the wind dispersed the remaining blocks. However, the animal was very exhausted after so many hours out of the water and did not have the strength to swim. Then, people decided to give the orca an adrenaline shot. After a few minutes, the orca regained strength, after which she found her own way back to the sea. What an amazing story, and I am so glad that all 4 orcas were saved by these kind people. Number 4. Not far from the Argentina coast, 7 orcas washed ashore at once. Nearby locals, rescuers, and tourists decided to help. The rescue of one of them was captured on video. It all started with the fact that only a few people tried to return the orca back to the ocean. They tried to dig the sand next to the orca and turn it over to make it easier for the tide to take the animal back to the ocean. As they tried, more and more people paid attention to the rescue operation, who also came to help the orca. The animal was too heavy, and although sometimes people managed to move the orca a little, the waves threw the animal back to the shore. Realizing that their tactics were not working, people brought ropes and wrapped them around the orca. More and more people gathered nearby, and this time the tactics of the people worked. After a while, the orca managed to be dragged away from the shore. After spending several hours on the shore, the animal weakened and needed time to recover. Despite the great danger associated with the waves, people did not depart from their plan and waited for the orca to gain strength. But, unfortunately, after people thought that everything had worked out, the orca was washed ashore again. This time, the rescue operation went much faster, and soon the orca was still able to return to the ocean. In total, 6 out of 7 orcas were rescued in this story, and one, unfortunately, died. It was a really risky rescue, and I am very glad to these people for their heroism. Number 3. This baby orca was hunting seals when the excitement of the chase was affected by lack of experience. He was stranded. Orcas are herd animals, and his mother was watching next to him, but she was unable to help her child. The cub was doomed, but the locals noticed him and decided to intervene. They heard his desperate cry for help. For several hours in a row, the orca is watered. If this is not done, the orca's skin dries and literally cracks in the air. People saw that other orcas swam up beside Mom. The calamity of the cub is a great stress for the whole pack. The peculiarity of the bay where the cub was stuck is that its depth is constantly changing, which means that there was a chance that the tide would soon be high and the orca would be able to swim back out. At some point, the cub stops moving and greedily grabs air. He's alive, but he's practically exhausted. When hope is almost gone, a wave begins to rise. The baby is allowed to rest for about half an hour and then literally is pushed into the depth. A dozen rescuers and local residents who are on the shore are escorting the orca to the open sea. The baby was lucky that people came up on time, otherwise the mother would not have waited for him. Now the family is safely moving away from the shore. Number 2. Locals came fishing and saw an adult orca which, like other heroes of today's stories, was thrown ashore and she could no longer return to the sea on her own. Having assessed the situation, the fishermen decided to intervene. They tied a rope to the car and tried to move the orca from its place. Human strength was clearly not enough, which is why the fishermen turned to caring locals through social networks, and literally half an hour later, dozens of people arrived on the coast. Due to stormy weather, the rescue operation stretched for many hours. Neither manually nor with the help of ropes and cars was it possible to return the orca back into the water. The waves and the current brought it back. Creative rescuers made a special stretcher out of sticks and tires, and soon they managed to push the animal out. Once in the natural element, the orca was not confused and was able to swim back into the sea. This orca owes its salvation to the amazing solidarity of local residents who, despite the storm, decided to help the animal in trouble. Number 1. Early in the morning, the Wildlife Service received a message. An orca got stuck on a rock during low tide. They immediately went to the place where they found the poor animal. The tide was supposed to be in about 8 to 10 hours, and the rescuers decided to wait, because when transporting the orca back to the sea, it could be injured on the rocks. All this time, rescuers watered the orca with water because, as you already know, their skin dries quickly and cracks without water. She was also covered with wet towels to avoid direct exposure to sunlight. Fortunately, after about 8 hours, the water began to rise quickly enough, and after 30 minutes, the orca was in the water.
She wants to be past that rock.
She lost a lot of strength, but everything ended well and she survived, thanks to the help of these kind people.
You go, girl!
Also, I have 7 stories with turtle rescues. For example, about a turtle that swam up to a diver and asked to remove a sharp shell that was stuck in its shell. Click on the video to see stories about turtles that needed human help. See you there!